Well, I'm Dr. Erin Gravel, Women's Life Coach. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about 5 steps to make time for yourself on your own schedule. The reason I decided to talk with you about this very important topic is because a lot of the clients that I work with, and also just people I talk to in my day to day life, have talked about how busy they are and how they really have these extremely packed schedules where there seems to be no end for them in sight in their schedules. They just are so jam packed with things to do that they're not able to make time for themselves. And so they feel like they're on this hamster wheel of continuing to go, go, go without any time for themselves or any time to do things that they really enjoy. And what happens is when you are constantly going and you're not making time for yourself in your day to day schedule, it leads to burnout. And the burnout can take a while to get to, but it does actually happen pretty quickly for most people if they have been going for a while without taking any breaks. And so, as a mom, I know how hard it is to balance my family's needs with my professional needs. I know that a lot of my clients, as well as my viewers, also have a lot going on. And it seems like every single thing in your life is equally important and a priority. And how can you possibly decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to take off of your plate so that you can feel refreshed, renew, energized, and able to create a life that you really enjoy, where you're actually feeling relaxed and feeling connected to those in your life, and where each day you feel excited about the day ahead because you're spending time on things that matter to you most and are making the biggest difference and the biggest impact in your life. So, now that we've talked a little bit about why it's important to create time for yourself, why don't we dig into creating time for yourself? So, the first simple step to making time for yourself, and I'm just going to look at my notes here to make sure I'm not missing anything, is to make your self care a priority. And what this looks like is we all have to-do lists, right? And we have different strategies for our to-do lists. And so some people create to-do lists and they put 5 things on them a day. Some people create to-do lists and they put 20 things on them a day. We know on our to-do lists that the things that are at the top are usually the things that get done within the day. And if you have 20 things, you're probably not getting through your to-do list each day, which is totally normal because 20 things is a lot of things to do. So I want you to think about your to-do list, or even look at your to-do list for today and see where you are on it. So look at your to-do list and see if you are actually on your to-do list. So what I mean by that is that there's time in your day where you've set time aside for yourself to do something you enjoy. Something like reading a book, maybe exercising, going for a walk, connecting with a friend. Are any of those things on your daily to-do lists? And if they are, wonderful, you're off to a great start. Then look at where they are on the to-do list. Are they at the top or are they at the bottom? What I would like you to do is start thinking about your to-do list, looking at your to-do list and putting yourself at the top. So what that means is first thing in the morning when you get up, you do something for yourself. You're starting your day out putting yourself first, doing something you enjoy, doing something that helps you reconnect with who you are, what you enjoy doing, what brings you excitement, what makes you excited about the day ahead, what really propels you forward. If that means that you have to get up a little bit earlier, it's well worth your time to do that. So please take out at least a half hour when you first get up to do something that truly makes you feel connected to yourself, where you're taking time for yourself, you feel good about the day ahead, and that you can start your day off from a place of strength rather than just starting another day off, just doing what it is everybody else wants you to do rather than putting yourself first. There are a lot of different books and articles on morning routines that people find useful. I've actually written in my blog too about morning routines and how they can be really useful. And I've written about my own morning routine. So if you're interested in looking at a morning routine, that's more than a half hour. It's usually about an hour long. You can definitely go to my blog. You can do some Google searches on morning routines. But one of the biggest parts of any morning routine is that you're doing something that you truly enjoy first thing in the morning when you first get up. So give that a try this week. See how it works. Do it for more than a day or two. You have to try it for a little bit of time over time to see how it actually makes a difference in your life. The second thing that I want to talk about is unplugging from technology. So many of us are connected constantly through technology. We have texts going, we have email updates, we're getting pinged about the latest updates on anything work related, home related, and it's like we're constantly connected to the outside world. It's really important that you actually take time to unplug from technology so that you can be present where you're at and with the people around you. One thing that I had read about that I started doing and that I advise some of my clients to do too is to actually have a time each day where you're not available with your technology. And so, what this could look like would be during the workday when you know you have a project you're working on, you could just turn your ringer off, your notifications off, and work on one project for an hour or two without any interruption. That's really helpful in keeping you focused and getting and productive and helping you get finished with some big projects throughout the day. Another thing that I do myself that I recommend is to set your notifications to be turned off from a certain time at night to the morning. And so for me, I do it from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so what that means is I'm not getting any texts, I'm not getting any updates, I'm not getting any calls, nothing. My phone notifications are off and I'm not disturbed at all from 9 to 7 every day. And I'm actually thinking of extending it because it's been so freeing not having people contacting me about things that aren't emergencies throughout the evening, and even sometimes late night calls or texts. When people live in other time zones, they forget that you might be sleeping because it might be morning where they're at. And so it really just alleviates all of that, helps me get a good night's sleep, and it also keeps me off of technology right before bed. And so that's another important piece of having your phone notifications off, is that within a couple of hours before bed, you're not on Facebook, Instagram, reading emails, those kinds of things, doing any kind of work. You're actually using time for yourself to do something you enjoy or connecting with your family, and you're able to truly connect with them because you're not focused on your technology. You'll sleep better. You will sleep longer because you will be off for at least 7 or 8 hours. And then in the morning, because I get up at 5:30, 5 or 5:30, I don't have my technology turned on until 7. So what that means is I can take time for myself without having the outside world influence what my day is going to look like from that moment on. So I get up, I have an hour to an hour and a half for myself to work on projects that are meaningful to me before I even look at texts or phone calls or emails or anything like that. And so that really is my sacred time in the morning before the day starts to reconnect with myself. There's been a lot of research around not checking your phone before bed or within an hour or so of getting up. And so what I'm doing is supported by research in that it's allowing you to put yourself first and allowing you to decide what your day is going to look like and to do something for yourself that again helps you start your day off in a strong way. The third thing is taking time throughout the day. And so we actually have times in our day where we have more energy. And so when you think about the times when you have the most energy, those are the times of the day that you're going to want to plan on doing things that need to get done. So if you think really well, you're really creative in the morning, that's when you're going to want to do that type of work. Whereas if you think really creatively or you're really good at problem solving in the afternoon, that's when you would do that type of work. So really look at your body cycles of when you have more energy and try to schedule your day around that so that you have times where you're taking breaks, you're able to relax. So you're not just going, and then burning out at the end of the day. You're actually going for a bit, taking a break and pausing. Maybe it's going for a walk, going outside to breathe in fresh air for 10 or 15 minutes, taking a lunch break, having breakfast, doing all these things where you have these scheduled breaks throughout your day so that you do have time to get things done, but also maintain the energy you need to get through the day so that you're not just hopping out of bed, going straight through the day, full force, white knuckling it through. And then at the evening or afternoon, you're so exhausted and no time for family, no time for friends, no time for a life because you're so exhausted. Just taking little times throughout your day when your energy lulls is so incredibly important. So, what I have started doing is I use time blocking in my schedule. So I'll block out, say, an hour to do some kind of work project, and then I'll leave a few minutes before or after to take time for myself. Or I might even leave a half hour for lunch or to take a walk or to read a book or to reconnect. So, for example, this morning I taught for about 3 hours this morning. And so I knew before doing the live, I would need some time to decompress, to relax a bit before doing this live. And so I took some time rather than doing the live right when I got home. I took some time to relax, to review my notes so that I could be relaxed, feel good, not feel drained, and be able to be at my best when I'm doing the live today. So taking that time throughout your day. Another piece of that is really, and I talked about this a couple of minutes ago, is taking chunks of your day and time blocking what you're going to do during those chunks. And this is a method I became familiar with. It's called the Pomodoro method, and I think it's a fantastic method. And what it basically does is you block out 25 minutes to do activities. And so basically turn off notifications, just be focused on the one thing you're trying to get done for 25 minutes, set your timer, and at the end of the 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break. If you need to go back to that activity to finish it up, you want to have another 25 minutes in that hour block. So you do that. And so what I normally do is even if I think something's going to take 25 minutes, I will put an hour block in there. That gives me enough time to get the activity or project I'm working on done. And then I also have a 5-minute break in the middle and at the end already built in. So I'm being productive, but I'm also taking those natural breaks for myself before switching and doing something else. The Pomodoro method is really effective because when you are not feeling motivated to get something done and you know you only have to do it for 25 minutes, it really helps you to get started because you can do anything for 25 minutes. And so really, okay, I'm just going to get started. And usually it's getting started that's the hardest part. And so that Pomodoro method with the time blocking and then having those buffers before and after you start things really helps you create some space in your day just to be and just to relax and just to enjoy yourself so that you're actually looking forward to your day and not just working straight through your day. Step 4 is to be selfish. And selfish is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you are hurting people. It doesn't mean you're being unkind. You're just realizing that to be your best and to show up your best for your family, for your friends, for your colleagues, you need time to yourself. You need to carve out time for yourself so you're not getting overwhelmed by all of the responsibilities in your life. Selfishness is not a bad thing if you're just taking care of yourself. So rather than thinking of it as selfish, I'd like you to start thinking about it as self-care and how to continue to care for yourself over the long run rather than just for 1 or 2 days. And part of this self-care is that we have different things we need each day. So when you try to create a schedule for your day that's the same every single day, it's not going to work because you don't feel the same every day. You don't have the same things going on at work or with your kids. Emergencies come up. And so knowing that I'm going to have to adjust and be flexible in my day is really an important piece of that selfishness or self-care. It's knowing that things are going to come up and thinking about how you want to work on those things so that you can be your best and so that you can show up fully rested, fully recharged. It's just such an important thing to think about. And so again, your days are going to look very different from each other. And some days you're actually going to need to take a longer break, and that's okay. Some days something might happen where you just feel exhausted, emotionally depleted, and you just need some time to yourself for a bath or to read a book or to reconnect with a friend or to have a long conversation with a loved one. And these things happen fairly frequently in our lives where we need to stop what we're doing and adjust and make sure we're showing up as our best selves. And so really thinking about, what do I need in the moment to take care of myself, to make sure I'm able to show up as my best and to feel grounded and connected and not overwhelmed, so I can make good choices. A big piece of that is getting sleep. 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night is so incredibly important. It affects everything from your mental well being to your physical well being. The decisions you make are greatly influenced by the type of sleep you're getting. Your ability to stop and not react in a situation and to think about how you want to react in a situation or how you're going to handle a situation is so much better when you've had a good night's sleep. So that sleep is really, really important. So if you're going to go ahead and create more time for yourself in your morning, like I mentioned, taking an extra half hour, getting up early, please make sure you're going to bed a half hour earlier as well, so that you're getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, because that's so important. Okay, the final step. You want to set your priorities and make them doable. So many of us have so many different things we're doing, and we don't stop to think, is this really what I want to be doing? Is this something I need to be doing? And so, really looking at your priorities. And so, this week, I urge you to look at the priorities for work, for family, and for your own personal self care. So, looking at those three areas, what is a big priority for me at work? Write it down. What is a big priority for me in my family or in my relationships? Write it down. And what's a priority for me in my own self care? And write it down. And then when you're looking at your days and what you're actually doing in your days, you can look at, are your days actually reflecting those priorities that you have for your life? And if it's not, what can you take out, or what can you change so your life starts to reflect your priorities, so that the time you're spending isn't wasted time because you're exhausted and you're just doing too much, but the time you're spending doing things is based on what your life priorities are. When you're doing the things that are aligned with your life priorities, you're going to have so much more energy. You're going to be so much more excited about the days ahead. And you'll also find that you are relating to other people much easier in a much more authentic way, because you're happy and you're meeting your life goals. So please, this week, think about, currently, do your days reflect your life priorities in work, in family or relationships, and also in self-care? And in each of those, I wouldn't have more than one or two, because that way you can keep it manageable and keep your to-do list down each day. Think about what's working and what needs to be different. And then think about, what do you need to let go of to reflect your life priorities today and in the future. So looking at those priorities, just one priority a day, what's something you can let go of to reflect that life priority today. It's small changes over time that are going to make the biggest difference in your life. So if you even make one small change about how to make time for yourself that I've talked about today, you will start seeing the results, and it will be amazing to see them. So I challenge you this week, make one small change, whether it's from step one, which is, where did I do step one? There we go. Which is making your self-care a priority. So having that half hour in the morning to yourself. Or if it is step two, which is unplugging from technology, which again can be turning off your notifications for a short period during the day, or for a longer period overnight and into the morning. So at the end of your day, you're not looking at email, you're not doing work, you're not Facebooking, you're really focusing on yourself and things you enjoy doing that aren't related to technology. And same thing when you wake up in the morning. Or taking time throughout the day to relax, to reconnect with yourself, being selfish. So taking that time that you need in the day when you need it to take care of yourself, even if it's longer than you had originally thought it would be, and setting your priorities. So please just try one of those this week and let me know how it goes. Let me know what works for you and any areas where you might be running into some trouble, some obstacles, and I'm always happy to help you with those. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you found that the 5 simple steps to making yourself a priority on your own schedule useful, and that you'll start doing these things before the holidays so that you're able to really have a good system down during the holidays where you're taking care of yourself, you're feeling re-energized, you're feeling refreshed, and that every day really is a new day and the best day of your life. I'm Dr. Erin Gravel, and thanks for joining me.